Welcome.
Thank you.
One question each. Hands, please. In the back.
Today is HBCU Day. First, talk about how much representation matters, and if you could hear the fans cheering for you out there.
Could you hear the fans cheering? They were so loud. I love Court 11. I think the whole park could hear the Court of the fans. First off, yeah, I mean, representation is everything. I honor that, and I try and represent myself in a certain type of way, and represent for us, by the way that I carry myself, the way that I speak, the way that I act. So, representation is everything, because if you have to see it to believe it, even if it's just one. And I think that that's so special, especially with us honoring Althea Gibson, because she was, the first woman of color to show up, and, pave the way for us and everyone to be here, honestly. So, and it's special to me. My sister is a former FAMU Rattler. So when I was walking through the tunnel and I saw the band, I was like, y'all got a band again? I want to hear, so it was really, really cool even for that to be able to merge the worlds of, tennis and even HBCU, because, it's such a rich history and rich culture. My sister, she got mad at me because I said I'm an honorary Bison, and she's a Rattler. So shout out to FAMU. I think she'll like that. But yeah, representation is everything. And I'm really, happy to have, won today. And also I'm really proud of, Sean Holcomb and the USTA for being able to kind of bring a piece of our culture and our history into tennis.
Okay. Just a reminder, no shooting from the stands. Okay. No video from the stands. David.
Hi there, Taylor. Well, first of all, congratulations on reaching the next round.
Thank you.
But I do have to ask you straight away about what happened at the handshake there. And also, I mean, perhaps you can talk us through that. And also, have you had any history with Jelena? I know you've played each other in singles and multiple times in doubles. Perhaps you could just talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we've played many times before. I played her in Toronto last year in singles. We've played probably before that. Most recently in the semifinals of Wimbledon in doubles. And no, there's never been any history. I mean, I don't know how she feels about me, but there's no, beef on my side. She told me that I have no education, no class, and to see what happens if we play each other outside of the U.S. And I said, I'm excited, bring it. I'm never been the one to back down from anything like that, but I just thought that it was really interesting. She was playing amazing in the first set and, couldn't miss. And, I had my head down and head in my strings and just tried to continue to just plug away. And that's what I kept telling myself. Just keep fighting, hopefully you'll get a break and you'll get an opportunity to try and implement some of your strategy. But she was kind of taking the racket out of my hands. I mean, was hitting amazing shots, serve +1 off of my returns, really playing really great tennis. And sometimes that happens. And, in my head, I was like, if this is one of those matches, because she's that type of player, it's just one of those matches. But I wasn't disappointed in the first set of anything that I was doing. I wasn't doing anything wrong. She was just playing really well. And then when the tables turned, it all of a sudden became an issue. So I chalked that up to competition. I chalk it up to, being upset, and she pulled out all the stops to try and break the momentum. And, sometimes people do that, but it is what it is. Still is no beef. But again, like you guys saw, I didn't back down, because you're not going to insult me, especially after I carried myself a certain type of way with nothing but respect. And if I show respect to you, I expect respect as well. And that's just the fact of the matter. And I think that that's tennis, right? No matter what's going on, it's me versus you. But at the end of the day, we have to respect each other and respect what happens out on the court. It's competition. So, it was unfortunate, but, it's something I could put on my TikTok.
Matt.
So, did you see what she posted recently?
No, my phone's glitching.
Excuse me?
My phone is like, isn't so many messages.
So she claims that her complaint was that, and I'll preface this by saying what she said to you was beyond the pale. So I'm just saying what she said, because I'm curious what your reaction is, not to justify what she's saying. But she said that complaining about not making an apology for at the net for when your ball hit the net.
Yeah.
And then also during the warm up, you went right to practice volleys, and those are quote unquote against the rules of tennis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there's no apology in that post or anything like that. So
I don't
I'm curious
expect one.
what your reaction is to that, and do you care whether, given what you said,
No,
playing in the doubles, what do you think? Should she be allowed to play in the doubles?
Yeah, I mean it's sports. Like, I feel like people have gotten a little bit soft. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's sports. Like, people talk trash. You know, people say things, whatever. People get mad. Like, everyone has a right to feel how they feel. You know, the problem is like, don't push your expectations on me. If you expect for someone to apologize and they don't, and you get upset about it, that's your fault, not mine. You know, at the end of the day, I honestly was like shocked that it was a net court because I was ready to play the point. So she was standing at the net afterwards, after she missed the shot, was like, oh, whatever. But this isn't anything new. Let's not act like this is new. It's not new. You know, people know that this is the MO. And so, like I said, all the stops were pulled out. You know, this isn't the first, second, third, fourth time I've played Jelena. So if she's complaining about how I warm up, that's fine. Everyone knows this is something that I do. You can go back to the time that I played my first ever pro tennis match, and I've been doing this since even junior. So it wasn't anything targeted towards her to try and take her off of her game or her rhythm. You know, I just was doing my thing. And, you know, so I honestly laugh at it. I think it's comical, and, you know, I think that it's kind of funny because, you know, to then go online and have to justify what you said. You obviously feel some type of way and feel like you have to give an explanation for how you acted. I don't feel like I have to explain how I acted. I think it was very self-explanatory. So, you know, I'm standing in what I said.
Catherine.
Congratulations. Hi. Just going back to the handshake moment, were you shocked about what she said?
No. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, it's happened many times, you know, with other players as well. You know, she might not voice it the same way, but, you know, the complaining and all the stuff is the same. So, again, it's an expectation for someone to act outside of, you know, their normal behavior or what they've shown in the past. So, I'm not surprised at all.
Charlie, Ben, David, Charlie.
Have you ever had with another player any sort of conversation like that at the net? And how strange is that at the end of a match when, you know, say there have been tensions that you've got to go and then sort of shake hands and pretend you're all kind of friendly?
I don't pretend by that. I don't pretend. So I'm very straight up. And that's one of the things that, you know, I'm very real and honest, which is why I'm able to stand here and be real about, you know, my feelings and what I think, because I don't put on for anything, anyone, nobody. So I've had that incident one time at a challenger many years ago in Charlottesville. And, you know, Asia Mohammed actually had to like take me off the court because I was so upset. The girl that I played was so disrespectful. And we were playing a challenger. It was this 50,000. There are no ball kids. There are no ball people. And girl was slapping balls to the third and fourth court. I have to go walk and get the balls. And, you know, I ended up winning and, you know, said some really like nasty things. And again, it was one of the things where I'm like, I'm just not going to tolerate disrespect. You're not going to disrespect me in my face. You know, I'm a firm believer, and I'm the type of person where if you have something to say, you feel some type of way, you say it to my face and we can talk about it and we can hash it out. So no, I mean, like, it is what it is, but I stand strong and I stand firm in who I am. And, you know, I don't back down from confrontation because, and again, it's sports, right? Like, you know, this is a part of sport. You can feel any type of way that you want to. But again, I just don't think that you should push your expectations and how you feel about something on other people and try to make someone else feel bad about that because you feel like they should conduct themselves in a certain type of way.
Ben.
It was one of the Rodionova sisters. I actually had run-ins with both of them.
All right, we'll take a couple more. Ben.
Just wanted to ask you, based on your emotion after you were pumping the crowd up after the handshake and stuff, and even just when you walked into this room, did you talk about the part of sports? Do you enjoy this part of sports? It can be the combat sort of side of this head-to-head sport that this is?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm an Aries, so I'm a fire sign. I wore fire today. Maybe that's why I was fired up. I was ready to go. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I love sports, you know, like to be able to watch the tension and watch things and to see how someone can handle themselves in the moment, how they handle their emotions, how they handle ups and downs, how they handle momentum shifts, things that are thrown in the mix of, whether it's to try and break your rhythm, break your momentum, how do they handle it mentally? Like this is what makes sports, and that's what makes it fun. And that's what I'm, shifting the narrative. That's what I'm the most proud of today. I was really, really strong mentally from start to finish. And again, like I said, she was playing very well and I really couldn't do anything. She was playing well, she was hitting her spots, and I just kept fighting, and I kept telling myself, just keep fighting, just keep trying. You're doing the right things, and hopefully, you get a break. If you don't get a break and she stays here, it's just too good. And that happens as well, which is a part of sports and a part of, there are just people, there are some days where people are just on. And I had accepted that mentally, like that this could just be one of those days, and I'm okay with that. So this is the fun thing about sports, and I'm really proud of myself for the way that I fought. I'm proud of myself for the way that I was able to be mentally tough and stay locked in the moments that mattered. And, that is a testament to the hard work that I've been doing on the court as well as off the court with my coach, because those are the moments that, in the past, and if I reflect back, maybe would have shaken me or would have gotten me off of my game. And today I was rock solid, and that's what I'm really, really proud of.
All right, two more. David, Big A.
Hi, Taylor. Congratulations on the win. You said you really liked Court 11. It was like standing room only. I don't think I've ever seen Court 11 that crowded. I mean, it seemed like it almost could have been on Armstrong. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there are fewer Armstrong matches available this year. They've gone from 3 to 2 in the day session.
Okay.
Just from a logistical standpoint, has it been more difficult to get court assignments, practice times, when there are fewer courts available seemingly around the grounds?
No. The player services team, Haley, is, she's a gem, and has been really helpful. And, over the last couple of years, it's been consistently absolutely amazing when it comes to prioritizing American players and making sure that we're taken care of. And so, no, I haven't had any problems practicing, getting practice courts. I was able to hit on grandstand a couple of times, so got a chance to hit actually on a, stadium court. Not by asking, just because, they gave me that option. So no, I haven't had any issues, but I love those courts. I think that is really cool that, the spectators are able to kind of have that experience. And, I love court 11. I love court 17. I've had some really great matches on all of these courts. So, I love it. But no, the player services team, everyone at the USTA has been taking really great care of all of us, American players, and making sure we have everything that we need.
Okay, last question. A.
Taylor, congratulations. For a lot of black people, hearing no education, no class would be interpreted, and rightfully so, as a dog whistle. Do you believe that had racial undertones? And for black people and black women who will hear about this and may have dealt with certain situations where they've had comments where they've interpreted it as more than just competition, what would you say to them?
So that's a two-part question. First, no, I don't know. I can't speak on what her intentions were. I can only speak on how I handled the situation. And how I handled it is someone who's upset about the outcome that occurred. You lost, and you're upset about that. Saying I have no education and no class, I don't really take that personally, because I know that it's so far from the truth and so far from anything. And again, if I allow what other people have to say about me affect me in that way, then they win. So ultimately, no, I stood up for myself, and I kept in my mind in that moment how I wanted to portray myself and how I wanted to show up. And if my son were to see this interaction, how would he view it? And I think he would be proud of the way that I handled the situation. I'm very strong. I'm very proud as a black woman being out here representing myself and representing us and our culture. And I make sure that I do everything that I can to be the best representation possible every time that I step on the court and even off the court. So I can't speak on how she felt about it. That's something that you're going to have to ask her. I didn't take it in that way. but also, you know, that has been a stigma in our community of, you know, being non-educated and all the things when it's the furthest thing from the truth. And the thing that I'm the most proud of is that I let my racket talk, because ultimately I'm the one here sitting in front of you guys, moving on to the next round, getting the next check, moving on, being able to still be here and speak to you guys. And that's what's the most important. She's packed up and she's gone. I'm here. And that's the only thing that matters. So whether it had racial undertones or not, that's something that she could speak on. But the only thing that I'm worried about right now is continuing to move forward through this tournament. I know that I'm a fantastic tennis player, and I know that I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish. And this is another stepping stone. It's another brick that I'm laying on my foundation, or on my road to greatness, you know. And so ultimately, you know, whatever it is that it is, I don't take any offense to it, but I'm really proud of the way that I handle myself. And, you know, more than anything, if my son sees that, I know that he'll be proud of me as well. And that's what matters the most.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.